Hello, welcome to another unboxing. This time it's the Roland Super UA audio interface. Now I bought this as new off a seller on eBay for £285, so I made an offer. I'm not too sure if it actually is new. The box looks quite old, but here we are. I've been using a Lexicon Ionics 8-channel audio interface, which has some nice sub-mixers. Now this one doesn't have as many channels, and it doesn't have MIDI, so I'm not really too sure if you can count this as a serious piece of equipment for people that are into home recording like myself. I think this is aimed more at those audiophiles and people that want really good sound quality, because this will stream DSD from the computer. I think it's in a 1-bit format. It can go up to 354 bits. I'll put all the proper information underneath the video. It also appears to be class compliant, because I went to the site to get a driver and it says Windows just installs the driver, so that will be interesting. I'll probably do on the video when it's actually set up as well. But let's see what we get in the box. You see, it's quite a small unit. The one thing is, not having MIDI, that makes it not so aimed at the professional recording market, because there's no digital in and out, and there's no MIDI in or out. So you get this breakout box, which is quite handy. Now, is this new? Put that there a moment. Power supply. I gather it will work without the power supply being hub powered, but I don't think you get all of the features. Maybe just some sound in and out perhaps. Now this feels like there's something in this. So let's put that box to one side. Actually, before we do that, let's just make sure that there's no writing on the box, other than the super 1-bit linear kinetic. No, there's not really any writing as such on the box. Let's see what's in here. It feels like there's something in here. Ah, there is. Oh, it's the mains cable. And a USB. Now I'm not too sure what size that is. I think that's called the micro USB. It's the thinner one of the two small USBs. And there's a 2-pin and a 5-amp fused main plug. Let's just unwrap the breakout box. So you do get obviously 2 mic pre's and a 48 phantom powering, so you get all that kind of thing. And what's kind of nice is you can leave this wired into your system at home, and then by just unconnecting the back thing, you can still take the main unit out with you and use on a portable PC or something like that, or a friend's house. So it's got some quite good points, but it's the sound quality mainly I'm buying it for. And my Lexicon Ionics, it's never had a Windows 10 driver, and I've been back to the Lexicon site now for the last 2 years, and it keeps saying do not upgrade to Windows 10 yet. Well, I'm fed up of waiting, to be honest, and I think it makes some videos stop playing. And I'm having some issues with Adobe as well, so I think it might be the sound cards. There's no reason for getting this. So this is quite a nice unit. It's metal, so it's probably nicely shielded, which is what you want for a mic pre. So it's 2 in, 2 out, XLR only, because I know on some you get those multi-connectors, don't you, where you can put balanced in, so it's only XLR on the breakout box. Nothing more to say about that really. Let's get the main unit out. See if I can get it out. There we go. Anything else in there? No. Well, the first thing is it's quite small for a digital analog converter, so I'm guessing it's all surface mount. Roland Corporation. And let's just feel, yes, it's metal. It's fairly light, fairly light. It's got some little rubberized strips there to stop it slipping. Seems to work. And you've got the choice of the smaller or the larger headphones. That's 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch for your headphones there. And I think the way it works is you sort of like select phones, then you can select the level, then you can go to mic 1 and mic 2, which would be these. Then you've got a line in, which will be that one there. A and B, which will be A and B. I'm getting confused now. Mic 1 and mic 2, line in, which is on the back of this one, so line in is for the back there, phones for there, A and B. I mean, it could be left and right outputs there, or it could be the outputs there, or both. I'll have to look into that. It's also strangely got a ground on it. Yeah. So there's the DC in. There's for your small USB connection. There's a ground. That big connection is for the breakout box. A line in and a line out. No RCAs, no XLRs. It's just, I hope, a balanced connection there. Just bring that a bit closer so you can see. Let's have a quick look around the box. It's an infinite dial, and it has a press facility, and I think what you can do is you can select and press and mute, which will be quite good. It's got the 1 VU meter, which is one of these new sort of ribbony type things, which works on about 68 volts this, and I think it's got a separate power rail inside for that. So I was looking online about it. Anyway, it's a nice compact unit, and I'm sure for some people it will be all you need, but I'm going to need the MIDI. So I'm either going to have to either use one of my Simps with the MIDI in out, or get a separate one, because I don't think I want to use the Lexicon unit anymore. Okay, so here's the power supply as well. And it's on a standard type plug, so easily replaceable, not like some. Because I know it has balanced rails inside, so it's not a balanced power supply. It feels reasonably heavy, but I'd say it was a switch mode. And I'll just show you the back of that. There we go, hopefully that will focus. Right, what do we get in with this? Just zoom out a bit here. Multi-language. Oh, it's just about electrical safety in multi-languages, that. So, there we are. And one more. Now, I know it has a compressor. I think it does phase reverse, but there's no program disk or anything, so I imagine it's already in here, or is it the software? Because I looked online, and as I say, there wasn't a download for a driver. So I'll have to see if that installs itself, how that goes. Oh, install the driver. In order to use the Super UA, you must download the driver from the following URL. Oh. Do not connect to the computer until you have finished installing the driver. Okay, so I must have been missing something there. Alright, so we're going to have a look for that. So it's telling about the basic connections. I know you can use all the outs at the same time, but I don't think you can use all the ins at the same time, which is a bit of a shame. Because you can individually control them by selecting them. So we have here another multi-language. So it's only this part here which is actually your owner's manual. So it's just that page there. So I'll zoom into that. Hopefully you'll be able to freeze that if needs be. So that's that side of things. So I'm going to take out my old Lexicon unit and swap them round and see how we get on. Right, so here's my setup at the moment with the Lexicon. I'm just going to go through the changing over process. So a quick introduction. I've got a couple of 4K screens. I've got a Ryzen 1800X with the Aorus 1080 Ti. I've got a couple of optical drives still, DVDs, but there's nowhere I can put that in, so I've just got that external. I've got a couple of ultra gains preamps. Got a Blofeld here. This is a distortion. That's control for the Cubase. This is an echo, and this is a vocoder. And right in the corner there, if you can see it, is the NAS drive. It's quite dark there. And obviously keyboard and trackable. And here is the thing that's going to be replaced. This is my Lexicon. So it's quite nice. It's got two headphones outputs, and they're pretty good. A main volume and either computer or direct. It's also got indicators, so you can see if there's any digital information or USB. So it's USB right now. So it has got 4 pairs, and you can make them separate, so you can just have individual channels, or you can pair them up. And as you'd expect, you can put everything into these, including guitar, which I don't think you can do into that new unit at all. So I've got them paired up. So I've got that vocoder over there into this one, and the echo is into here. So I can put things into these, and then it goes to the submixer. And I've also got a submixer in, and the ultra gains are these two. So there's various inputs. Now I've got this submixer, and that's down there. So all I need to do is rewire these two into the submixer, because I've got plenty of spaces still. And then just the output from this one can go into the inputs, and just use this one as the mixer now, which that will work out okay. So I'm going to be missing a digital in and out, which I don't really use. But I'm going to be missing a MIDI in and out, so not too sure how that's going to work out. Also, just out of interest, there is a Lexicon multi-effects unit, and that goes through the send and receive on this here. I've got an old Spectral, PV Spectral synth, and an M3R. I've got other synthesizers, but this is just an Alto 61 control keyboard. Oh, I forgot about that. I have got a MIDI. Oh dear, I don't know my own equipment. I have got a MIDI in out. So yeah, I don't use the MIDI on that, so everything's fine. I don't know what I was worried about, everything's okay. And I've got a Tenori. I'm going to be doing some videos of that soon, because it's really nice and visual, that. Lovely thing, titanium, really nice. I got the last ones that came off the Yamaha line. It's one of the last ones made. Trouble was they were 700 quid, and you can get an app on your phone. It does the same thing, so they were bound to not be made anymore. Also, yeah, of course, I've got the amplifier, an Audiolab here, conservatively rated at 100 watts per channel. I've also got a scanner down there, photographic scanner, and there's all the various connections, mains. And I've got some Elace's Monitor 2s, which I've had for many years, and they're absolutely brilliant. Lovely bass, and they're up out the way. So that's my setup. So I'm going to go ahead now, take this out, and as I say, route everything to this submixer. So this submixer out will be the new input, and then just simply put the outputs which are there. Let's just show you at the back here. So these two here will just go into the new unit. The USB, that will just go in, And here is the outputs. With they're actually phonos. I use cord cables there, the company called Cord, and I've just put a converter on the end, so and that can go straight in as well. So it's virtually straight over with not much problems at all. So I'm going to do that. Oh, also here, by the way, I've got a, you can see it. Just turn it on, might be easier to see then. Yes, down here, these are all the various USB 3s in a little hub there. But I've got plenty of USBs. There's some on here. There's loads on the back of that. That what's it called? It's an A370 board. I keep wanting to say Sabertooth because that was my old one. It's got an M.2 in it as well. And you can see that down there. There it is, M.2 hiding in there. I've also got 3 SSDs, which you can't actually see, which are on the back. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sort this round. So here's the back of the Lexicon unit, just before I put it away. Now this has the ones that I really hoped that the Roland one would have had on it actually. These are XLR, but you can also put jack plugs in as well. So there's 8 of them, might line inputs. There's the main outputs. There's SPDIF in and out, MIDI in and out. There's the USB connection and the power. So that's that unit, which I'm just about to say goodbye to. Okay, so I've had a few days now to get used to it, and I must say I quite like the sound of it. It's compared to Lexicon, it's got a bit more sort of punch in the mid-range. The mid-range really does come forwards in the mix now compared to the other one. And I also noticed that in the Windows Media Player I was putting all sorts of enhancements on. I've turned them all off, and it just sounds better with them off now. If you put like the SRS and the WoW settings on, it just sounds muddy. Whereas before it sounded right at the Lexicon, so I don't know what that says. But I quite like it now. I'm quite getting used to it. I love this function here where you can just push and it mutes. And push again and you're open. Now you can mute everything. So see, for example, this headphone's out. That's muted at the moment. Oh, I see it's on. The volume was down as well. So it will remember what the volume was set at, so that when you unmute it, it will go back to that volume again. You see? So it remembers the different volumes. That's nice. It gets not very warm, just slightly warm. And these meters are something I haven't seen before really, because I'm so used to having LEDs. And they're really quite nice. I'll show you them in a moment, but I've got to be careful what I play, obviously due to copyright restrictions, so I'll probably play some of my own stuff, so sorry about that. Anyway, let's just go on to the screens for a moment. The first thing I've noticed is the control panel, because I've got 4K screens, is minute. Look, there's my screen, that's just my hand for size reference. It won't go any bigger. You see the maximize is grayed out. So on 4K, unfortunately, it's actually a very small. So I can get quite close to it obviously with the camera, but I can live with it. I can live with it. So on the control panel, you can see I've got the left and right. This is the breakout box section here, and on that there's a compressor for each channel, high pass filter, sensitivity, input levels. And also when you select stereo, like now, you see there's pans there. When I select stereo, they go left and right, which is nice. So there's the output, which is pans here, which is the main one, which I've got my Cord Anthem cable on, and that goes to my power amp. That's the sub mixer coming in. That's the small USB going to the computer over there. And there's a power. Now I've noticed with the power, I've got it turned on at the moment. It will work with the power turned off. I don't think the breakout box does, but the unit still will work, but it's quieter. So I've opted to leave the power on all the time. Regarding setting the thing up for Windows 10, I went to the site and downloaded what I thought was a driver, and in fact it was just a bit of information saying turn your computer on, then when it's up and running, then just plug it in and it sets itself up. So it actually downloaded what it needed to do, and these were suddenly in the computer. So anyway, with Windows 10, you just turn your computer on, let it all sort itself out, and then plug the USB in, and then it goes off and gets the drivers and everything. So that's okay. Then the next thing I found it was a bit confusing was I could only get it to work at one frequency. See where you can select here for the sample rate? You can't select anything else. So I've got the Windows Media Player up. So if I get rid of it, so I've got nothing now. There we go. So it locks on to different things. So it's 192 Hz, that's the highest on the 24-bit. And then if you go to this one here, that's the DSD, and it now sends you this little reminder that it's only 2 out. So I haven't actually got anything DSD, well, the SACD equivalent, but 192 Hz to 24 is probably a better format anyway. I haven't messed around with the latency, it all seems to be fine. So, for example, so if I go into my, say, the control panel and go to sound, there we go, bring that down. Just get rid of that one. So there it shows up there as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I set 1 and 2 as default, which is the output, but you could have 3 and 4, I guess, if you wish. And going to that, properties, on advanced, so I've set it up for 24-bit. But if you wish, you can go to 16-bit, and they both work. And the other one. Okay, so I've opted to stay on that, and I've done the same for record. For recording, there we are, it's 1 and 2 in, and there's a monitor there as well. And once again, you have the option of both. So my sort of default is 192 at 24-bit. Yeah, I wish that was a bit bigger, but there we are. So you can adjust it here, the volumes, and as you see, as I do that, it will go up and down on there. But there are more controls on here. So muting and volumes you can do on both. But some of the other things, obviously all this, is only on this control panel. So I opted to put mine in the start menu so I can just call them up quickly there. Let's come back a bit. So you sort of see, hang on, I'm zooming in now. So, I mean, obviously, I'll play a bit of music, but you're not going to be able to hear the sound quality because it's obviously going through my camera and then through whatever you have. So, but I must say I do like it. I like the sound, but I'll put something on, well, just so you can see the VU meters, I guess. So let's pick something that is my own. An old track from the 80s. Let's get right into the middle of that track. So just turn that down. So here, which is like the main output, I found that if I put it too far over, it was going right into the red. So I've got it just over sort of halfway there to give a bit of headroom. Sorry about that, had to be some of my own music or I'll get a copyright strike. or the way things are going at the moment, this is not advertiser friendly and get a blimmin' yellow strike at the moment. It seems to be affecting everyone. Anyway, so there we are. So I'm quite pleased with it. So I was worried about all sorts of things I didn't worry about. I completely forgot that I had a MIDI anyway, and I've got synths that have got MIDIs in and out and through, so there's no worry about the MIDI. But I mean, if it's aimed at the recording market, it should really have a MIDI in it, shouldn't it? And I guess it doesn't need the, you know, I was saying about the interface where it has, on the Lexicon it's got, you can either put XLRs or the jack in. You still have got that on here, so you can still put 2 jacks in here, so you can put a keyboard in. And I noticed on the literature it actually had a picture of a guitar plugged in, so maybe there is some sort of high-Z functionality. Maybe, I don't know which sort of pickups it will work with. Unfortunately I haven't got an electric guitar anymore to test that with, but it will do some. And I must say, I quite like it. I like the look of it. It's lovely. And it's quite small. I like the way it's got the 2 different size headphone sockets as well. And the way it remembers the settings and the muting. I like the muting. Really do like that. So on the whole, other than on a 4K screen, that control panel being incredibly small, but I expect hopefully there might be an update in the future, or I might be able to hack in. So I managed to do it with Roller Coaster Tycoon, and maybe change that. But on the whole, pretty pleased with it. Sounds good, and I've listened to it on the headphones. I've had it on quite late at night, so I've been doing all sorts of things. I've had it on a couple of days, and it sounded pretty good on the headphones too. There's no hum or anything like that. And I gather that the ground is for, in case you've got microphones, you get a static build-ups and things, so you can use that ground for grounding to something. But you always run the risk of having an earth loop there, so I'm not going to connect the ground. And I'm going to leave, as I said, I'm going to leave the power turned on as well, because it will work without the power. In fact, let me show you that. Let me put that track back on, and I'll turn the power off. It'll take a moment where it sort of has to realise the power's off and then restart itself, but you should be able to hear the difference in volume, so I'll do that. So let's yeah, I don't, hopefully you should be able to pick up that that's a lot quieter. It's always very hard to judge sound quality, so I mean, when something gets louder you can perceive it is sounding better, but so there's definitely a difference in volume when you turn the power on as compared to bus power, but whether it sounds any better I'm not so sure. I mean, I've listened to proper recordings and it just sounds louder to me, but I've opted to keep the power on anyway. So there we are. So that's my first impressions. Oh, and I don't know if anyone's actually interested, but I didn't wire up these boxes in the end. I'll just leave them there for when I need to wire something. I can either go straight into those 2 jacks, or I can use my sub mixer down here and wire it into that. So it's still quite flexible for me. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.